When are songwriters ever going to stop writing all these unending songs about love? Remember Paul McCartney? Just another silly love song. I'll stop. I'm going to try. Remember that? Doesn't it just tire you out to hear over and over again yet another song about love and how wonderful it is when we have it and how miserable it is when we don't? Why doesn't anyone ever write a song about their pet gerbil, for example? Or perhaps more to the point, why don't we hear more songs about human friendship? I guess the simple answer to that question is this: romantic love is much more exciting than friendship. It stirs the blood, flames the desire, excites the emotions. Many people, it seems, would rather be in love than be in friendship. And in fact, it's been said that it's easier to find a lover than to find a friend. Do you think that's true? And even though the songwriters are not going to stop writing their songs about romantic love, we know that friendship has an extremely important role to play in all our lives. Without real friends, life loses much of its appeal. It becomes dull, lonely, and at times even quite depressing. We can live without romantic love, but we cannot live without real friends. When Jesus commands us to love one another, he wasn't just telling us that we have to love the stranger or the one who is in desperate need, although he was telling us that too. Jesus wants us to love those whom he has sent into our lives as friends. True friendship is not just useful. It is, in many ways, the staff of life, a necessity for human living. In the encyclical, The Redeemer of Man, Pope John Paul II gave us these remarkable words, and I quote, "Man or woman cannot live without love. He or she remains a being that is incomprehensible to oneself. Their lives are senseless if love is not revealed to them. If he does not encounter love, if he does not experience it and make it his own, if he does not participate intimately in it." End of quotation. What could be clearer? Life without love makes no sense whatever. One of the most common forms of love that we find in our lives is found in our friendships. There may be people who have no family or any close relatives, but we would surely pity the person without even one friend. Now just imagine your life without your friends. Imagine that there's absolutely no one whom you want to spend time with, no one whom you would like to talk with, no one to share your thoughts with, no one to celebrate with, no one to cry with, no one to pray with, no one to share any part of your life with. Who would want to live like that? The love that we find between friends is as true a love as the love we find between two lovers. The power of deep friendship is truly remarkable. Think of your closest friends. Some of them might be from grade school right here at Holy Rosary, others from university years. But a true friend is more than someone who just has history with you and knows where the bodies are buried. In the first reading, it says that Paul and Barnabas put fresh heart into the disciples, encouraging them to persevere in the faith. A friend for life is one who strengthens your best qualities, forgives your faults, and puts fresh heart into you for a future of love and goodness. Some of the greatest rewards of friendship are listed in the book of Sirach. And I quote, "A faithful friend is a sturdy shelter. If you find one, you find a treasure. A faithful friend is beyond price. No sum can balance their worth. A faithful friend is a life-saving remedy, such as the one who fears God finds." Book of Sirach, chapter 6, verses 14 through 16. By the way, this should sound familiar to those who come to our Stations of the Cross that we use during Lent. It's one of the things we prayed during the stations this past Lent. Listen once again to these images of friendship. A sturdy shelter, a treasure beyond price, a life-saving remedy. If we really believe these words from the sacred scripture, we would not hesitate to do whatever we had to do to make and keep faithful and genuine friends. And our first reaction on thinking about the friends in our lives would be one of gratitude. But as with all valuable things in life, we need to actively take care of our friendships. To have a friend, we must be a friend. Blessed are they who have the gift of making friends, for it is one of God's best gifts. It involves many things, but above all, the power of going out of oneself and appreciating whatever is noble and loving in another. End of quote. And that's from Thomas Hughes, a British reformer, jurist, and writer that lived in the 19th century. Is friendship a ministry? Yes, if it is a true service of love to others. While we're still in the Easter season, it is good to talk about what happens when we make the decision to love our neighbor. We not only give new life to someone else, but our own life is refreshed and renewed. Let us try to listen to these words of Jesus with fresh and open hearts. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. Our love of one another takes on a sacramental character. It's a sign that communicates the visible presence of Christ. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, Jesus said, if you have love for one another.